All right, so this video is going to be about how to use a lacrosse ball to get a release on the pec minor muscle. So pec minor, it's a muscle that kind of hides deep in your shoulder. It actually has attachments deep to your shoulder blade back here and has kind of think like if you're doing Pledge of Allegiance, it's going to run on this diagonal and come forward and actually attach to your rib cage. So what it does functionally is it helps to lift your ribs up when you're trying to breathe hard. And it can also, when you are anchored down here, it can start pulling your shoulder forward as things start to get a little bit tighter that way. So that's not good, especially when we spend a long time sitting on our computers and typing a lot. So when we want to open these spaces up, the lacrosse ball does a great job of getting a release for that. So here's how to do it. So first what you're going to do, get a lacrosse ball. How you do that. And then you are going to find almost like this little triangular area that's kind of like right in the front of your shoulder, like between your shoulder and your chest. You'll feel your clavicle up here, your collarbone, this kind of harder bony spot right there. And we don't want to be on that. We're going to be just below it and kind of find almost like this little divot point between your chest and your shoulder and under the clavicle. So it's almost like a little triangle. So you're going to take your lacrosse ball, you're going to stick it right into that divot point there. And then I just like to find like a nice little corner. I use a door frame here. And sometimes that creates a nice little edge where I'm just going to put that ball right up against that door frame. And we're going to lean into it. A little hard to see with the black on black, but you get the idea. So I'm going to let that force push through the ball into my shoulder, and I'm going to kind of actively pull my shoulder back at the same time too. I'm even going to kind of turn my palm up and open up that space a little bit more and try to actively pull that back. And as we're doing that too, we're also thinking about our breath. I want to take a good deep breath in, and I feel my chest expand and go into that ball a little bit more. And then I'm going to blow out. And as I breathe out, I'm going to sink into that space a little bit more and let that ball put the pressure back into that muscle. You're going to feel it, and there are some nerves and blood vessels that kind of travel around that area too, so you might start feeling some tingling in your fingers. Back off if it's getting too much like that. Shake it out a little bit. But this one is a great release, especially if you've been sitting at a desk driving a long time, find your shoulders just getting stuck, or you just have that pain in the shoulders, and just work on that for a few minutes or as long as it takes to really start making a change in the tissue. So again, right into that little triangular spot, breathing into that expansion, blow out, let it go, and then let that shoulder start to get more into this retracted position. This is what we want. Do that a couple times a day for a couple weeks. You'll see some changes.